How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome back to another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. We got a lot of fun topics to get into. The Cubs traveling back from Japan. I will preview the next series the Cubs are in, and we'll also break down May schedule, and we'll also check out some of the best tweets that I saw from over in Japan, either Cubs fans being there or fans reacting here back home. But before we get into all that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everyone who has watched the videos, taking your time to support the channel. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here, and also down below, let me know your guys' post-gut reaction to the Cubs going to 0-2 in Japan. I want to hear the overreactions, the underreactions, the whole nine. I'm trying to stay even keel about it, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, the emotions in me, we just want to let loose sometimes. Not a lot of the great, didn't see a lot of great things over there, but we still had some good, high-quality moments. So, let's get into the first topic today. It's 1 week before domestic opening day when you guys are watching this video. The Cubs are going to open up in Arizona. We will get to a preview of that series here in a moment, but the Cubs have a few more preseason spring training games to get to. I believe they're flying back today, and then the Cubs are scheduled to play a game Thursday. I don't think any of the big league players are going to be in that game because I'm guessing they're going to be resting from jet lag and general recovery. Then I believe the ramp up will begin for these guys. We kind of saw that in the first two starts with Shota and Justin Steele. You kind of saw how they were worked. They had about a 75 pitch limit. And so they weren't going to go much too long. Unfortunately, Steele did get hit a little bit harder than we'd like to see. But again, over in Japan, completely different world, completely different set of emotions going on there. I'm sure the Cubs are ready to get back stateside and get ready to get to work on these Diamondbacks. So I believe we're going to play the Padres on Friday. We'll have a game against the Rockies and the Braves before we settle up. And at least we don't have to travel very far, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be going to Arizona. So a few videos ago, I did break down the schedule for April. I said we were going to have a brutal schedule in April. And I will say this, it does get easier in May for the Cubs. We will take a look at that here in a moment. It's still going to be some tough matchups. I know that we play the Brewers. I know we play the Mets. There's a lot of high expectations for the Mets, and we always know how tough the Brewers are for us as well. But I definitely do see some relief en route here for the Cubs. Let's take a look at that schedule, ladies and gentlemen. We got 3 in Milwaukee, 3 in New York. The Giants are going to be coming to Wrigley the first full week of May. The Giants are a solid ball club. That NL West is loaded, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta keep your eyes high on that one. Again, the Dodgers, are tough. We're gonna get a preview of the Diamondbacks here. We're gonna play the Padres as well shortly into April, I believe. And then, of course, the Giants are a really good team. The Rockies, they visit us later in the month. They are projected to be the last team in the NL West. I know the Marlins are probably projected to be very low in the NL East, and I know that the White Sox are probably projected to be low in the AL Central as well. So it is good to see that there is some relief coming for this team in May. I mean, we got to take care of business against the likes of the Marlins and the White Sox. I mean, honestly, anything less than 5-1 in that short stretch at home is kind of a disappointment, I would say, for the quality of ball club that the Cubs have versus the quality of roster that the Marlins are trying to put out there. I saw a graphic the other week where the Marlins have literally dropped 2% in payroll over the past 20 years when literally everything else has risen to inflation, like the Big Mac and all sorts of other food items as well. We also got the Reds, which is a great division rival. The Reds are projected to be a spunky team this year. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to go with the Reds on this instance because their offense is absolutely electric. It really, really comes down to the pitching. So we're going to get 2 of them at Wrigley. I think it's going to roll over into June. So that last weekend, we'll be at Wrigley. The weekend before, we'll be in Cincinnati. An excellent chance for the Cubs to maybe make some headway and get ahead here in the NL Central because you got to rack up wins when you can, ladies and gentlemen. And we know that April's going to be very tough. But here, and at least the last half of May, there's a lot of projected ball clubs that are going to finish a lot lower than 500. The Marlins, they're in a rebuild. The Rockies, they're in a rebuild. It always seems like these teams are in a rebuild. We know the White Sox, after an absolutely historic season, are in a rebuild. Now, I do expect these teams to be, quote-unquote, better than last year because you expect those young guys to at least get some more experience. But someone does have to lose in baseball. And with all the other teams in each of those divisions, I don't expect much from the Rockies, Marlins, and White Sox. So this is an excellent opportunity for the Cubs to take advantage. I'm not saying you got to win them all, but the Cubs will be projected to win all of these games. And this is when it counts, right? This is the start of a good team, right? The Cubs need to beat the teams they are better than. Beating the Dodgers is a tough get. I'm going to be honest about that one. The Dodgers are absolutely incredible. They didn't even have their two best players, and they still made us look like mincemeat. That's just how good the Dodgers are. The Mets are projected to be good. They were in the NLCS last year. So, again, these are the teams the Cubs should take care of business on. No less than 2 of 3. Ideally, sweeping these teams all the way home is the main goal, I'd say, for this Cubs team. So, May does provide some relief. I will drop you guys June here probably in tomorrow's video so we can get a full schedule breakdown before the regular season start. So let's take a look here into this Arizona series, ladies and gentlemen. You guys thought playing the Dodgers in Tokyo was tough. I would agree with you. I think it is the toughest matchup we could possibly draw to open up the season. Well, it doesn't get much easier on domestic opening day either. The Arizona Diamondbacks are absolutely poised to be second in the NL West. And honestly, when I look at their pitching staff and I look at some of their offensive weapons, they might make a threat with the Dodgers. I know, that's tough to say. The Dodgers are absolutely stacked. Well, the Diamondbacks have whipped up quite a squad as well. If you haven't heard the names of like Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte, get familiar because these guys are absolute stars in the game of baseball. They catalyzed this Diamondbacks offense, which, fun fact, they led the league in runs last year. So a lot of good players on the Diamondbacks, ladies and gentlemen. But let's take a look at the projected starting pitching matchups, okay? Now, again, I'm projecting here. I'm not saying it's going to happen this way. It could be Shota versus Corbin Burns. It could be Justin Steele versus Gallen. Those two are interchangeable. But from the general consensus that I'm feeling, I know that a lot of fans think that Justin Steele is the Cubs' ace. So I might see him get the opening day nod in Arizona against Corbin Burns. A familiar foe, a former Brewer. We have beaten Corbin Burns before, so that is always good to see, and that does give us an advantage. But again, with the Diamondbacks like the Dodgers, you got to play near perfect ball to take care of these guys because they are going to be really tough to beat. And again, these 4 matchups, it just doesn't get easier down the line. Zach Gallen is a premier pitcher in this game, ladies and gentlemen, an absolutely premier pitcher. A lot of great talent on that front as well. Brandon Pfaadt had one of the best postseason runs a few years ago for them. If you don't remember, they made the World Series 2 years ago as a 6 seed. That's why being in the wild card is always fun. And again, Jameson Tyon's our 3rd best pitcher. Now, they did sign Jordan Montgomery to a lucrative deal a few years ago, but maybe Matthew Boyd can help get the Cubs the edge in this one. So I'm not sure what to expect about the Cubs in Arizona, but I'm really personally hoping for a split. I think a split is a win. The Diamondbacks are going to be an absolutely fantastic team this year, and they're going to be vying, I'm not saying just for a wild card. I think they're going to secure one of those top wild card spots very easily because they're just that good of a ball club. So if they split with us, I think that's a win for the Cubs here in the month of April. So that is a slight preview. I will give you guys a game-by-game preview as those days come along. Remember, opening day is next Thursday. But I want to have some fun here on Cubs Daily. One of my favorite things to do is just read the reactions on Twitter. So I kind of went gut blinded. And I said, hey, the first 3 things that make me laugh, even if it's a slight chuckle, I want to bring attention to them. So here are some of my favorite tweets that I liked. Some of them I just enjoyed because I'm a fan of other things and how it integrated with the Japanese culture. But let's start with the first one, right? Rushing Baseball. He tweeted, "What was your favorite part about the Cubs season now that it's over?" And I get it. When you're facing the defending champs like that, it's hard not to feel that it's over because do we even stand a chance against that come the postseason? Who knows? I'm just going to say this. The Cubs are going to be a completely different team come September and October than they are in early March. So don't take these losses too much with a grain of salt, but you also do want to look at those things and be like, hey, I know we have some stuff that we have to work on as well. This one that I saw was actually from one of my favorite streamers that I watched, Nutsy. He's a Pirate fan, unfortunately, but he said, Pikachu being a Cubs fan just ruined my morning. Well, Nutsy, I'm going to be honest with you. My morning was ruined because I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and then watch this offense play. But I digress. I'm happy Pikachu's a Cub fan. Pokemon's awesome. Baseball's awesome. Love to see those two worlds are merged. And then honestly, this is kind of like my favorite, like, just negative, down in the dumps posts from a Cubs fan. I was rolling and laughing because it's just how I feel sometimes. It is my personal hell watching the Cubs lose to the Dodgers before 4 a.m. on consecutive days to start a season. And just, like, honestly, just the sheer feeling of it. He's like, you're right. Because it wasn't just any old Cubs game, right? Like, we woke up early. We set our alarms. Some of us tried to get enough sleep so that we could tolerate watching this game at 5 a.m. And then that offense does that. And we lose both games. At least coming out with one win would have been awesome. But it just didn't work out that way. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, those are some of the best tweets. I'll try to do that segment maybe once or twice a week if the time sees fit, if we don't have enough news. But that is going to be it for Cubs Daily today. Again, make sure you guys comment down below. What are your gripes? What are some of the things you guys have seen early on that you're like, please, we don't need this trend to continue for this Cubs team to be successful? I want to hear from you. I will be reacting back to it. And again, if you guys leave enough comments, I'll happily do a segment on it, and we'll read your comments, and I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it as well. So I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.